Welcome back, Explorer. Here we are, primed and ready for another adventure in the great unknown of the Backrooms. I suppose it's easy to imagine you're significant when you're the only living one wandering through endless cramped hallways filled with the long since dead. How about we change things up a little today? No claustrophobic man-made creations, no suffocating passages or dusky suburbs or vast yet oddly anonymous cities. Instead, let's return to nature. It's perhaps been a bit too long since you've touched some grass, don't you think, Explorer? Welcome to Level 16. Make sure to breathe in the fresh air while you can. You've no-clipped into another strange and alien place. Well, not entirely alien, just alien to what you've seen so far. You've watched enough David Attenborough documentaries about the Amazon rainforest to recognize the lush bounty of biodiversity sprawling out all around you. The towering ancient trees, whose branches and leaves form a dense canopy overhead, pierced by spears of early morning light that fall upon you like the many thick green vines dangling from above. Mist hangs in the air. How can it simultaneously be so humid and yet carry that distinctive early morning chill? Before you, the undergrowth is thick and fertile. Dead leaves, sprawling networks of roots, wet brown mud with the consistency of clay. The only thing that seems unusual about it is the lack of insects and small lizards or snakes skittering and slithering around. The Backrooms, after all, has its own unique flora and fauna. Things might appear similar to the world you've always known here, but nothing will ever be quite the same. Even 17 levels in, that still takes some time to adjust to. After all, no matter how acclimated to this world you become, you will never be a native here. Still, you continue your journey, observing a nearby flowing river and the great willowy tree leaning down into the water, contemplating grabbing a vine and swinging across it while bellowing like Tarzan. It's not like anyone would see you here, right? No point hanging on to something as petty as shame in this world. As you run after and try to catch some falling leaves like an excitable child, it begins to dawn on you just how much of the life you had before was dictated by worrying about the thoughts and opinions of people you never respected or even really liked. How many years had you wasted trying to impress the people whose thoughts disgusted you? What a funny way to live, Explorer. Funny indeed. Soon you come upon something interesting. The first sign of something man-made here in this world of otherwise unspoiled natural beauty. Something metallic is sticking out of the lower trunk of a huge, broad tree. As you get closer, you make the assumption that perhaps it's a machete or a hatchet left behind by some previous wanderer who is hacking through the branches and vines near here. But as you get closer, you see that strangely, no, this isn't the case. The man-made instrument sticking into the tree is an ice axe, the kind someone might use to help them scale a mountain. You then notice that this highly out-of-place instrument was used to carve a brief but frantic message into the tree's bark. The message reads, "Beware, it's all going to change." An offering as ominous as it is vague. You've played enough video games in your time to know that you're clearly meant to take the ice axe. You don't know what you'll need it for yet, but you're absolutely certain you'll need it at some point. If not on this level, then on some other. All the objects you discover in the backroom seems to find their own uses eventually. You slide the ice axe through one of your belt loops and move on, pondering what "it's all going to change" could mean. Your pondering is interrupted by an icy breeze. Suddenly, you find yourself shivering. How strange. Why would you be shivering in the middle of a dense, humid rainforest? A minute ago, you felt like you were starting to overheat from the exertion of moving. Now you're hugging your arms around your shoulders, teeth chattering, trying to retain what little warmth you have left. In that moment, the sinister prophecy carved into that tree begins to come true all around you. Trees are sucked into the ground. Thankfully, the message put you on edge, made you alert exactly as intended. You dodge the branches as they're pulled into the earth, knowing you would have been crushed by them if you didn't. The mist hanging in the air is replaced by swirling white snowdrifts that sting your skin. You blink, and the jungle from before is gone. You're standing in the middle of a vast and unforgiving frozen tundra, leading off for miles towards the sheer cliffs of icy mountains. Just like the warning had said, it has all changed. You don't feel like you're in the Amazon anymore. You're in the Arctic, and you can feel the cold in your bones. You keep moving. You need to move to preserve at least some of the heat inside you. If not, you're doomed to become a part of this frozen landscape. An explorer's sickle, staring forever out of the ice in some slack-jawed horror, like some primitive dead troglodyte. Oh, but don't feel bad, explorer. If that does happen, at least you can be an entertaining little landmark for whoever comes next. We like to be positive here at Backrooms Explained. As you move over an icy hill, rubbing your arms and shivering so hard you can feel your bones rattling deep within, you feel a profound sense of regret that you didn't bring a thicker coat, or at least those nice mittens you bought last year, but hadn't yet gotten around to using. But right now, you can't get a coat. You can, however, get a plan. And a plan might be able to save you. Might, of course. Let's not get our hopes up too much. Your eyes turn to the nearest icy mountain as the frigid howling winds around you make your ears ache. If you can get over there and find some kind of cave, you can at least shield yourself from the wind, and perhaps make some temporary shelter or build a fire to stop yourself getting hypothermia or frostbite. It's far from a safe bet, but right now, it's the best bet you have. Steeling yourself, you put as much energy as you can into getting to that frozen mountain. Fortune, it seems, really does favor the brave, because as you reach the mountain, you do indeed find a cave to secrete yourself into. It's hardly warm and cozy, but it's a respite from the lashing icy winds outside, and that makes it feel like a paradise in a pinch. You pull out your canteen and take a long sip of almond water to revitalize yourself, feeling your breathing steady slightly. Now you need to figure out if anything you have on you can make a decent fire. This whole situation has taught you a lot about the values of carrying around a bunch of dry sticks and firelighters in case the world around you abruptly becomes a horrific frozen wasteland. You really never know when this kind of situation is going to come up, do you? As you sit there shivering and wondering if maybe freezing to death isn't that bad. After all, there are so many monsters that could horribly kill you down here. You hear a strange hissing noise and feel something odd falling onto your head. Instinctively, you reach your stiff frozen fingers up to your hair to feel just what fell into it. More snow, perhaps? But no, it doesn't feel cold. It feels like something coarse and rough, and capable of getting everywhere. You look at your hand. Of course, it's sand. Shocked, you look up and see cracks forming on the roof of the icy cave above you, and more sand comes pouring out of the cracks. The whole mountain is rumbling around you like an earthquake. Driven purely by your backroom's honed survival instincts, you spring up and sprint out of the cave before it can implode on you, crushing you with its immense weight. But by the time you're out of the ice cave, you're not in the frozen tundra world you ran in from. You're in a vast, scorching desert, the kind of sandy hellscape that would sizzle a cactus to death. The sun, seemingly right above you, beats down with tremendous force. The mountains of ice that once dotted the landscape are instead replaced with monstrous sand dunes. You're expecting a giant, horrifying worm monster to be attracted by the vibrations of your footsteps and spring out of the ground to devour you. That would almost be preferable to the more mundane but upsetting demise of being roasted to death beneath the red-hot sun like a slab of cheap beef. You sigh and begin to walk again. You return to the old maxim: if you walk for long enough, you simply have to get somewhere, don't you? Personally, we think it's very nice that you believe that, because, well, we appreciate your optimism. We won't tell you that. Technically speaking, not all Backrooms levels obey the typical rules of the space-time continuum, so you can actually keep walking and not move anywhere at all. But please, don't think about that right now. Just stay calm and happy as you can be while feeling like a fried egg. You pull out your canteen again and begin chugging almond water, hoping that one of its rejuvenating properties is preventing this diabolical sun from giving you a severe melanoma. When you're done drinking, you feel how threateningly light the canteen is now, and you begin to worry about your almond water supplies. It is a cruel irony, isn't it? It's been one of the most dangerous and hostile levels so far, and as far as you know, there aren't even any aggressive entities here. The environment itself is trying to kill you. You sigh and, foolishly we might add, decide to say out loud, "At least it can't get any hotter, I guess." And as if on cue, you feel the ground rumbling beneath you and regret ever opening your big, stupid mouth. That's when a jet of fire blasts from the ground in front of you, just barely missing you as you stumble backwards. You lose your footing and fall back, but instead of your back landing relatively harmlessly against a pile of sand, you instead feel the discomfort of hard, jagged rocks whacking you in the spine. What fresh hell is being delivered onto you now, explorer? The only way to find out is to look and see. You rise shakily to your feet, suddenly feeling an even more intense heat all around you. The sand is gone, replaced by a huge vista made from jet-black volcanic rock, cut apart by rivulets of glowing molten lava. Everywhere you look, massive volcanoes belching great spouts of ash and leaking more lava down their sides dominate the skyline. You're in the middle of some primordial nightmare born of fire and rock, a proto-Earth, before the proto-conditions for life even formed. The air you breathe here feels thick and soupy. You don't currently have the emotional bandwidth to be horrified by this situation. Instead, you just stare blankly across the expanse of lava world and say to yourself, this might as well happen. All you can really do is shrug and keep moving. If you walk for long enough, you will reach some kind of destination, and there has to be an exit around here somewhere. Want to stay tuned for the next exciting exploration into the Backrooms? As we delve deeper and deeper into this liminal abyss, be sure to subscribe to the Backrooms Explained and turn on notifications so you never miss another expedition. Now go check out Level 17, The Carrier, for more exercises into Backrooms terror.